Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James, and today we're taking a look at another Accelerated Dragon game for this series that we do. And in this one, we're going to be going over the knight trick. Hopefully, you know this one. This is part of the bishop c4 main lines. Let's take a look. Here we go. We start up with e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, c takes, knight takes, pawn to g6, knight c3, bishop g7, bishop e3, knight f6, and in this one it's the bishop c4 line, so they play bishop c4 here to stop the d5 idea. As we've gone over in quite a few games already, d5 is a move that black wants to play. If they get to play it, they're equal if not better. So the idea here for bishop c4 is very simple. It's just stopping the d5 from getting played right away. And well, white goes ahead and black goes ahead and castle. And here we're going to take a look about the mistake of white castling right away. Here the move for white should be bishop to b3. If they don't do this, and this does happen with a lot of people that just learned the Accelerated Dragon, at least the bishop c4 variations, well, it's already black to move and get a good position after castles here. I call this the knight trick. This is done in other variations, typically in e4, e5 ones. Hopefully you see it. Black to move. What do you play here? Of course, you see the move. Knight takes on e4, and, well, knight takes back and pawn to d5. Here what's going to happen is, well, we give up a knight for the pawn. We win the piece back immediately. But the reason why black is better here is because, well, you can see that white has lost all the pawns in the center, and black is the only one left there. So, black just has a good game. And, well, here, white went ahead and played knight takes on c6, b takes on c6, and bishop d3, which is a very good way to play this. I've definitely probably one of the best ways to play this. Everything else is probably just worse here. With that being said, some people have tried to play bishop d3 here, and this is just a mistake. Here you will go ahead and just play knight takes on d4 here, and, well, you just won your piece back, but you're not even losing your pawn back. So black can only be better with 2 extra pawns in the center. All right, back to the game. B takes c6, bishop d3, takes, and here, well, interesting move here by black. Bishop to a6, developing with a threat, attacking the rook. And here white plays the best continuation. Queen takes, rook takes, and here the b2 pawn is being attacked, so they go ahead and play rook to b1 here. Well, a nice position here, but I definitely like black's position because, well, the bishops are aimed over here naturally. We do have this kind of weak pawn here on c6, but you're going to see how black is able to turn this into a very good game. He goes ahead and plays rook to d6, pawn to c3, and bishop c4 exclam. Again, this is where the weaknesses are, and this is where we're going to be trying to attack. Alright, rook to d1 got played, and here was the idea of playing this bishop c4 idea. Bishop goes to d5. Now, it may look a little weird here because, well, who puts himself into a pin? But here we're going to see that black just gets a great position out of this. And, well, where does white even place this bishop to right now? The bishop can go where? You can't go back to f3. I guess you could play back to c2. With that being said, well, you're ready to double up rooks. Even rook b8 is a move I like quite a bit. And, yeah, the pressure on the b pawns is real. So, here, well, I don't like the way that white played this, but white just goes ahead and takes on d5. C takes d5, and again, black is just looking great here. Now we have these 2 great pawns here. No passed pawns just yet, but now with the b and c file opened up, well, we're just going to keep exerting pressure here. Here, bishop d4 got played, and this is just asking black to play it. I couldn't resist. Here we go, pawn to e5. Now we have a very strong center here, and we're going to keep pushing against these pawns over here, and maybe even push these guys down the board if our opponent lets us. That being said, you have to be careful about this because d5 is both a strength and a weakness. Meaning, well, after white played bishop c5 to attack the rook, rook goes to d7. This is a strong pawn, but it's also weak because it can't be defended by another pawn. And here we're going to see white try to put pressure on the d pawn here. So white went ahead and played rook d2 with the idea of playing rook to d1, doubling up rooks and concentrating on this weakness. Fortunately for black, he played very well here. He went ahead and played rook to c8, developing with a threat against the bishop. You got to stay active in these kind of positions. If you don't, your opponent will just get their ideas through. Bishop back to b4, and I like this move quite a bit, bishop h6. Here we're going to see some nice tempos by black just by harassing this rook. And while the rook had to move, if you go back to d1, well then you're not going to be able to double up your rooks, and black will easily be better there. So there's only one place to move your rook to. Rook to d3, again, we want to stay on the d file here, but now we're just getting free tempos. Pawn e4 attacking the rook, rook to d4, bishop back to g7, rook to d2, and now a very nice move here for black. In fact, I challenge you to go ahead and push pawns here, see if you can find the best move here. Black to move. What did black play here to get a very strong position? Alright, hopefully you found it. Here we go ahead and play pawn to d4, a very nice move here. And one that, well, white has a really hard time with. In the game, white played a terrible move of king f1, and black soon got a huge edge with this next move. With that being said, what happens if we just go ahead and take? Well, this is exactly what black wants. He wants to go rook takes on d4. And, well, after rook takes, bishop takes, now you see again the pressure is on the b pawn. And, well, black is doing much better here. In fact, right now, black has the 4 pawns, 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, meaning he most likely will play something like f5 and then make a pass pawn with this e pawn. And this 2 versus 1 is very good for black because, well, this is a backwards pawn open file. Here, black has very good chances in this game. Probably the best way for white to play would actually be playing something like, let's see, what else can they play after rook takes d4? Well, I guess they could try bishop c3. No, that doesn't do. Bishop c3 is just going to be losing material after rook takes, and bishop takes on b2. And black is just much better here. After rook b1, bishop d4, the bishop will come back to b6. And again, we're going to push here on the king side. Well, in the game, like I said, king f1 got played. And here, black just keeps strengthening his position. Here he goes ahead and plays pawn f5. And this is a very good move. Again, we have the pawn majority over here on the king side. So let's go ahead and push this forward. And now another terrible move here. Some people are just very bad at endgames. Pawn to f3. What do you play here? Hopefully this doesn't take you too long. Yes, pass pawns must be pushed. You can go ahead and play pawn to d3 here. You could play e3 here, but it's not the best as well. White can play rook to d3. And now you see that these pawns are kind of stalemated here, or they can't be moved forward easily. So we go ahead and play pawn d3. e3 is coming. There's nothing that they can really do to stop this. Pawn takes, pawn takes. Now we have these 2 connected pass pawns. Pawn to g4 here, making an escape square, maybe trying to stop some kind of rook placement over here. But all right, black to move and win. Let's just push these babies home. Pass pawns must be pushed. Pawn e3, rook to g2, pawn to e2 check, king e1, and now a nice final tactic here. Pawn to d2 check. Of course, you can win this in lots of different ways. This is just a nice forced way to do it. Here, well, the king is forced to take on e2. There's no other good move here. And now the winning idea. Hopefully you see it. What does black play here to win this game? Here, there's actually quite a few different wins here. But with that being said, the easy one here was rook e8 check. And here, well, the king has no better square. It went ahead and went to d1. Is there a reason why we shouldn't go to f1 here? Well, I mean, you still queen either way, so it doesn't really matter too much to me. But here, king to d1 got played. And rook e1 check, king c2, rook takes, rook takes, rook takes. And after king takes, rook takes on a2, white went ahead and gave up. So remember, guys, I hope you remember this nice idea about the knight trick. Remember, if they castle too soon here, use the idea knight takes e4, knight takes pawn d5. You have a very strong center and very good winning chances. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video.